We're going to talk about Israel and the Middle East now. I got an extraordinary email this morning from a source of mine in Israel, who is not the biggest Netanyahu fan and who has had a pretty measured response to everything that's gone on. And I woke up and read it, and it was very upsetting. I'm going to read it to you. I've got permission to share it without identifying the person who wrote it, and it was written before some of the latest events, but I think it does capture something that you don't see particularly well captured in the American media today and overnight. Here it is. Uh, in the last few hours, number one, you saw that grotesque celebration around the bodies of our babies. Number two, five buses exploded near Tel Aviv. Thank God no one was hurt, only because the terrorists set the timers for 9 p.m. when they meant to send them for 9 a.m. when hundreds would have died. Hamas took responsibility, some quote unquote ceasefire. Three, the bodies of the abused boys were positively identified and it was determined they were brutally murdered in November of 2023. The third body was not the mother or anyone else they could identify. This is, I think, the important part. I cannot convey the degree to which my furthest leftist friends are now sounding like Meir Kahane, the late Israeli who was banned from politics for advocating for expulsion. My own reaction is that we now need a total blockade on Gaza. The humanitarian aid, nothing in, nothing out, except our hostages, and any Gazans who have a country to take them. Might not sound like peace, love, and understanding, but I think my mindset is probably reflected across a huge majority swath of the Israeli public right now. Why am I telling you this? Obviously, because the dominant media in the United States will not report it and will not listen to me, but you will. Super upsetting email for me. And I've heard from other people today who I published that this morning in my newsletter and heard from some other people who said it's spot on. That this last day has been as upsetting a day as they've had in Israel since the initial attacks. Those little boys have become, for so many people in Israel and around the world, a real symbol of the brutality and of the inability of the ceasefire to bring about some sort of resolution that is acceptable. So I want to talk about all that and apologize a little for getting a little bit upset about it, but I find it upsetting.